Now we're gonna get into a little more advanced M1 moves. I don't want you to jump into these complex moves until you've gotten down your clicking, your basic M1s, and your presentation of your M1s. Because if you try jumping right into the most complex stuff, it's gonna highlight all of your flaws that you have. And so remember, just get down those fundamentals first, and then you can advance to the more complex stuff. Now, there are many different ways to place your thumb, not just out and in like this. You can do partial shows. So you could show a piece of your thumb like this. When you click the light on, it's only partially showing right there. And you don't want to move it right away unless it's an intentional move, or else it looks kind of sloppy. You want it to look clean. So if you do want to present it fully, one technique you could do is, let's say you click it on like this. As you're coming back, you could kind of open it up, and then you could fully present it like that. And when you pull it back, it kind of hides you opening up your thumb like that. Another way to spice up your M1s is if your thumb is fully out like this, you could start adding other fingers into it. So you could do like a gun move, you could point your finger out like this. You could do like a shaka, point your pinky out like this. And when you start incorporating these other fingers, it really starts to get complex. Let's say this is the basic move that we're doing, okay? We're just going out and in, and we're doing a cause and effect here, okay? Cause and effect. Now what we could do is we could pop out this one, and we could do this, or we could push it down, open it up, clip, do this, do this. See, there's so many different ways where you could start incorporating these other fingers as cause and effect layers. Another move that you could do with your M1s is you can add in digits into your M1s. And so this L shape is one that I like to use a lot. And with this L shape, you can add in all sorts of digits, right? So you could like digit there, you could pop this out, you could pop this, you could do like one of these, you could do this thing over here. You can add a lot of different tech into your digits. And one concept I love to do are platforms. So I will have this L shape right here. I'll put a platform right behind it. And then you could do like cause and effect like this, right? And then you could start adding in other fingers and doing other tech like this. And so this is pretty much a digit right here, an L shape like this or like this. And then you could kind of do ISOs or do other types of tech around your thumb. Now, when I'm doing these digits, usually in this L position, I'm also in this position, which kind of opens it up a little bit. I also like doing this, this is like an F shape, but I like doing it like this. You could also have this shape right here, which is pretty much a palm click. And with this one, I like to switch up the thumb motion. And so you could do cause and effects like this, right? Where you hit them out like this. You could do ISOs like this, do ISOs like this. And then go back to something like this. So really play around with it. The possibilities are limitless. The key here is make sure your thumb is sticking straight out like this. You don't want it pushed back like this. You don't want it like up, like diagonal like this. You want it straight out. And make sure your other fingers are intentional too. So you don't want your pointer finger like curled like this, like all limp. You want it straight up. And if you're using these other fingers too, like make sure they're all intentional. So like don't have them sticking out all weird like this. You want to either keep them all in or keep them like this. Whatever your other fingers are doing, just make sure they're there for a reason. Because often I see a lot of digiters, not even impactors, but a lot of people doing digits where they will like have one finger all weird, like pointing diagonally like this. And then like they'll have this little pinky sticking out like this. And it just doesn't look clean. So when you're doing impacts, remember, the light highlights all of your flaws. And if you're doing some sort of digit structure like this, you want to make sure everything is clean, everything is intentional, and you want to have everything set up the exact way that you want it. Another move that you could do is the little Italian things that I like to do, boo 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 boo, right? So you can like show them like this, boom, 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 boom. you could do some sort of cause and effect. So I like to make little creatures, right? Where I will show it like this, and then I could like boom, or you could boom, boom, right? You could also do this on top of your hand like this, boom, boom. This is all just cause and effect. Corduroy does one where he does it like this, right? The key here is to make sure that this thumb is going straight out, and you want it in the middle of your hand. So if you're doing it straight up, again, you don't want it like off to the side, you don't want it out like this, you want it straight up. And if it's going down like this, you want it straight down. And this requires a lot of muscle memory to keep that thumb straight while you're moving your other fingers around. But again, if it's like out here, like it's gonna look super weird. And so you want it straight down. Or if you're going sideways, right? You don't want it up here, you don't want it down here, you want it going straight out. Again, it's always about the presentation. Another thing you could do are pinches and rotates. And this is what Corduroy does really well. So he'll like pinch something and then rotate. He'll spin his fingers around like this and kind of close them again. And this creates a really trippy move. Like you can move it around like this. He likes to do this one right here where you rotate it and then you like drop it in here. One move that Fry did was he did like the shakas. You could also rotate these. So you could like pinch and rotate these. It's nice to have a little small rotating movement in your M1s to kind of switch up the pace of it. Because if it's just constant, just in and out, it gets predictable. And so having a move like this rotate, it really helps switch up the flow of your show. And another move that you could incorporate into your M1s are 45s. And so one that I like to do is they are digits mixed with platforms and 45s. And so this one is pretty complex, but I will click the light on, kind of push this out, push it back in. This is an isolation, so I'll push this out, push it in, and then you could roll it out like this, roll it out, and then you could pop this out, and then these turn into digits, right? And then you could boom like that. Boom, 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 boom. So those are like the platform 45s. Puppet also had some really cool 45s he did with the impacts, where he had this shape right here, and then he dropped it like this, and then he did something like this, and then he was doing some like rotates like this, where he would shine the light. That's another way that you could incorporate 45s. And Corduroy has some really crazy 45s as well, which yeah, I showed you before with like the rotates. And then he'll like bring it up like this and then like do some crazy stuff with the rotates and the 45s. Yeah, you could go in every angle that you want. You could go diagonally, you know? It doesn't have to be limited to this cubic XYZ plane. Just make sure if you are using 45s or if you are going at an angle and going diagonally, just make sure that it is intentional. Again, don't move on to these complex M1s until you could get down your basic M1s, your placement, and your clicking. When you're ready to move on, study Corduroy, because he has the craziest M1s. Really break down his moves to their bare bones, figure out why they work, and take those building blocks and then construct your own show. That's the way to really start building a solid M1 foundation. Just take everything to their bare bones. So your action item is start experimenting with these complex M1s. See what styles that you enjoy. If you like digits, practice your digits and start incorporating digits into your M1s. If you like finger tuts, start incorporating those finger tuts into your M1s. If you love doing 45s, then see how you can incorporate those 45s with your M1s. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with in your M1s, and I am stoked to start bouncing ideas off of each other to create M1s that the world has never seen before.